Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Pratas Marami Hridisan Spurudatma Tattvam Sat Chit Sukham Paramahansa Gatim Turiyam Yat Swapna Jagara Chishupte Avete Netyam Tad Brahmar Nishkalamaham Nachupa Sankaha. Is it still resonating in your minds that in the morning hour, yes, as the dawn has come, I remember and I meditate upon that which shines in the heart. Shines in the heart as the self. That truth. That which is Satchit Ananda, existence, intelligence, and bliss. I am that eternal Brahman, which is blemishless, and which knows the three states of waking, dreaming, and sleeping. I am not the aggregate of elements. Please absorb this one verse of Shankaracharya. We are the Shankaracharya lineage. It's your birthright to carry that, to hear it, think it, Shravana, Manana, and contemplate it, Nididhyasana. While you are here, there is no other opportunity like this. From moment to moment, each breath is a reminder. And thus the theme remains. Love, serve, and remember. And do you remember what I had said yesterday about this beautiful mandala? Not just a picture, not just a logo or brand of sorts, but a beautiful contemplation. Who's been upstairs to look at that? To think about that, to imagine yourself as that face. That's why I had this young man here yesterday at Ikari. So you could be inspired by him, because he took a selfie in front of that. And again, it's not to show off. He wanted to see that flame coming out of his head. He stood in front, took the selfie, and that shika was coming out of his head. He showed it to me with a laugh, but he knew that I understood. I understood his intention, that he just does not hear something, but he thinks about it. He contemplates it. He absorbs it. And he shares it. Service. So you're here to serve. You're here to remember. And you are here by way of love. As many of you know, Swami Veda would start his sessions with a meditation. And please allow me to not speak my words, but his words, and carry this apo dipo bhava, the sentiment of the inner light now. I'll explain a little more later that this is the theme that will continue each day at this time by way of our different sadhakas. To simply share, for you to simply listen. And if there's something there for you, then think about that. And if there's something more so that connects with you, then contemplate what it means for the changes that are inevitable and the transformation that will occur here in this place of tapasya, where the element of change is always present. That force of change as discipline of the mind and as a loving nature of one's heart to open, to receive and accept, to forgive and to love. So this will be a particular meditation, and I'll tie it back into the teachings by way of it being one of the meditations that our Yoga Sutras has identified as a tool, as a technique. But remember, you are not the meditator. As Adhikari said, you can be simply that thumb. Please prepare yourself. This is about 15 minutes? About a 15-minute meditation in a sense of a contemplation, but with our theme of inner light. And we'll speak more to that in a moment. Prepare yourself for meditation.
Sit just as you feel comfortable. Only let your mind be tuned to the inner self that speaks from within you, that speaks within you, that speaks through you, that speaks also to you. There is a moonlight. It is called the moonlight of consciousness. This moonlight of consciousness reflects on a lake, on a river, on a stream. This moonlight of consciousness lights the treetops. It lights the surface of the sea. The moon from whom this light is derived reflects in its unblemished glory at the bottom of the lake, at the bottom of the stream, in the ocean, in the river, even in a small brass vessel. The moon is one. The reflections are many. The glory that is in the reflections, the power by which the reflection in the water in a gold vessel adorns and beautifies that gold vessel, is derived from the single moon, the glory of the one moon in the sky. The moon shines as one on whom the glory and beauty of all these reflections depends. The consciousness that is within us, the life force that is within us, the flame that I am, burning in this temple of the divine being called the body, the flame of life and consciousness that is burning in this temple that your personality has been called. That flame is a spark from the vast cosmic life force, a fire that burns to the no end of infinity. The consciousness that is within you, the consciousness that is in the gold vessel of your heart, the consciousness that is in the copper limbs, the consciousness that is in the streams and rivers of your blood, the consciousness that is in the electric ocean of your brain and in your mind. That consciousness is a reflection of a full moon in the sky of heavenly awareness. That full moon is the complete divine being from whom we receive these reflections. That divine moon shines. Just as the reflection of the moon has no identity separate from the source that is the moon itself, so the life force and the consciousness force that you are, who dwell within the bonds of this personality, who shine within the gold vessel of this body, do not exist apart from that divine peaceful moon. That peaceful moon has shone in the past. It shines now. It will shine forever. Was simply a reflection of the divine being whose moon-like grace flows down through the sky and reflects in our being. And here now, even on this day, if you recognize that the spirit of the great prophets of the past, that the being of the great saints who have been, the rishis and sages of the ancient Upanishads, those who sang the song of the Bhagavad Gita, those sages who became the beacons of divine light on earth, standing on the mountain tops of the Himalayas, they are no different from you, just as one reflection of the moon falling in one lake is no different from the reflection of the moon falling in another lake 1,000 miles away, or both are reflections of the single moon. At this very moment, if you recognize as those prophets, as those saints, as those sages, as those beacon-like masters have recognized in the past, as they have recognized their own true being, so if you recognize your own being and re-establish the lost connections between the reflection and the moon that is the origin of the universal light. If you only do this at this very moment, all the power of the word of the prophets, all the strength of the Psalms of David, all the lights shown to Arjuna in the battlefield by Krishna, all the strength of the beams of light flowing from the beacons from the mountain tops of the Himalayas will all become centered in you, in your heart, in your soul, in your words, in your speech, and you will speak not from the emptiness of the mind. You will speak from the silence, the depth of the silence of the Spirit. My fellow reflections of the spiritual moon, open the doors of your hearts and listen. That treasure, that gold, that light, that joy that you seek, that refuge that you would rather find is nowhere else but within you. It is here. It is now. Only your will, your volition has to make a resolve to cast away this mantle of darkness that you have artificially placed on yourself. And as you close your eyes in meditation, gradually a dance of 7 veils begins. But all you need is aspiration. Aspire, and you will be inspired. And where there is darkness, where the path seems lost, where the way seems confused, there will shine the light of enlightenment. Visualize the face of the sun. Relax your body. Sit straight now, my fellow reflections of the moon. Relax your forehead. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Relax your arms and hands, fingers and fingertips. Relax your arms and shoulders. Relax your chest. Relax your stomach, navel and abdomen. Relax your legs, thighs, calves, feet and toes. Relax your legs, relax your abdomen, relax your navel region, relax your stomach, relax your love center, the cardiac center, relax your chest, Relax your shoulders, relax your jaw, relax your forehead. And know that all the fires of the universe burn within you. Visualize a red flame burning in the navel center of consciousness. Think what the orb of the shining sun looks like. Bring that in your cardiac center. Think what peaceful moon looks like. In the clear blue sky, bring it to the skies of your throat center. Think of a crystal-like flame behind the center between your eyebrows. You are a being of light. All the illuminations of the universe are within you. Exhale and inhale as your prana is awakened and is mingled with these illuminations. Exhaling, think your mantram. Inhaling, think your mantram. As though your breath and your mantram is a beam of light flowing from the red flame of the navel center through the heart of the sun in the heart center, through the purity of the moon in the throat center, through the crystal-like pure flame in the center of your knowledge and wisdom. Exhale and inhale, you a being of light and illumination, and enjoy yourself, enjoy this peace, enjoy this light, and God bless you.
Remember? Remember that voice? Remember those words. Do you remember that practice, that technique called meditation? And how many times have we meditated? So as to not just repeat as a memory, as a habit pattern, but the meaning is revealed by an experience. The experience lights the light of understanding. The understanding consumes you by way of love. There is no other destiny for a meditator than to love. And you heard his words yesterday. If you love me, meditate. If you love yourself, meditate. And if you love your family, meditate. But how do you meditate? If you are simply again and again going through the method of meditation without understanding that you are not the meditator. How is it that you experience that inner light? And how does the light of wisdom speak through you? So in this way, when we say love, serve, remember, remember takes on another dimension of determination. It is not the way in which a remembrance is simply another wave, another vritti, but it carries a deep emotion, a deep urge of, I will be enlightened in this life. And that is what is the remembrance. And you surrender as you sit in the temple of your personality, in front of the flame of the eternal Atman, where you and that light are one. And because you are one within yourself, within your realization of your identity, you are one with all lights that have been reflected in the purity of the mind that has surrendered and has experienced being. And as that being, the illumination of that. It is called Jyotish, Jyotishmati. And it is identified by Patanjali as a method of meditation. Yes, so this is simply, again, for some consideration, a meditation that is an example of a method. And in the first chapter of the Yoga Sutras, from the very first word of Atha, that, you know that yoga is samadhi. And that the entire Yoga Chitra Vritti Nirodha is bringing forward that vritti of samadhi again and again in your mind as your meditation. And here in the first chapter it says practice that, abhyasa. Abhyasa. In the first chapter, the practice is called abhyasa. How? Patanjali doesn't say, well, you just sit and something will happen. He gives you the tools, upayas, shraddha, smriti, this inner strength of virya that develops, the love that is actually the samadhi, are your meditations. Shraddha as faith, smriti as remembrance, also as hope, and samadhi as love. So you see such beautiful interrelationships, say with the Christian tradition that carries the message of faith, hope, and love, the greatest of which is love. Yet faith as shraddha, hope as smriti, this remembrance that becomes an intention, that becomes a determination, is the reminder that is enlightened. And you are the enlightened love that is revealed as the samadhi state. Yes, a samadhi state of your mind because it's parvritti. It's the original vritti of your mind. It is the natural state of your mind. All the dissipations, the distractions, the disturbances that we call mind, by way of those thoughts and emotions, are alterations to this beautiful reflection of the lake called mind. So the upayas are there to help you. And after the upayas, he says, if nothing else, surrender. This is the first way in which Ishvara Pranitana is identified. Simply cut the attachments and you're free. Surrender to God and you're free. The easy way. But not so easy. So Patanjali says, then at least remember his name, her name, that name, Om. And that Om is a designation, and that Om is the object, and that Om is the process, and that Om is the light that enlightens. So each of your mantras are the expression of that enlightenment. But even that is difficult. So Patanjali goes further. Okay, then meditate. And this entire section of 32 to 39, those verses of the first chapter, are on meditations. And the one that is so beautiful that Swamiji never called a meditation, but it is, because he asked you to focus on it. The Brahma Viharas. Yes, no doubt you have heard, well, I do a loving compassion meditation because I follow the Buddhist way. And they have this beautiful way, you just think of being empathetic with someone, pouring out your heart to someone, and in that way you are experiencing kind and compassionate mind waves, thoughts. But the Brahma Viharas, by way of Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upeksha, each of them are unique ways in which the mind transforms. So you're not simply transferring the ego vrittis of, oh, that poor fellow over there, he doesn't have enough food, let me give him a rupee. But you actually sense the sense of I and that person are one. And there's a connection that is made on a very deep, intimate level of a unified principle of consciousness that is the meditation. So yes, Maitri, your friendship, kindness. Yes, Karuna, your compassion. Yes, Upeksha, this equanimity of emotion without being pulled, and thereby Upeksha, remaining solo, unaffected by the influences of those habit patterns called vasanas that are coming forward. Becoming the vrittis, becoming the thoughts. And they are not even positive thoughts, nor negative thoughts, for that equanimity of a meditator will not even judge, I want only good thoughts. And you create conflict in your mind. You create competition in your mind because the good thoughts and the bad thoughts are there fighting. Upeksha, equanimity. And on, 33, 34, 35, and 36, the meditation on light, Vishok, having two principles, this parvritti, where the object itself is the light that is meditated upon. And the second principle is called asmita matra, where the very origin of the most finest aspect of your personality, that aspect of the buddhi, your intelligence, that is so pure that it reflects the light of Atman. And so this asmita matra is the final end of that meditation of light. And through even this guided practice, you may have somehow touched that. And that itself creates a vritti for you. That samadhi state will carry then the vrittis of samadhi for that next meditation of stillness. That next urging and yearning of silence. that next pull that pulls you to some still source within. To experience then the asmita, the identity of your personality, to be that light. Because there is also a pull. There's also a kripa, a grace that is pulling you. Because of your purity of knowing yourself to be the light. This transforming understanding of I am the Atman, ever pure, ever wise, and ever free. But you have been given even a more treasured gift. Sutra 36 of chapter 1 is then followed by Sutra 37. This meditation, when you understand it correctly, it is the meditation on the Guru Spirit. On the Guru Spirit as a mind field. You heard Swamiji talk about the mind fields of saints and sages, masters in that meditation. He didn't specifically use mind field, he said you think about them. But you are meditators, so you use the context of connection on a deeper and deeper and deeper level. And for you initiators, you know this because that's how you pass on the revelation of mantra, by way of connecting to the Guru Spirit in the collective mind field of consciousness. We are not the initiators. We are simply that voice. Because we have heard your cries in the desert of desperation. Help me. And you have chosen to be initiated. You have prepared yourself to be the adhikaran. And when those mind fields link, the Guru mind field, through the initiator's meditation, to the initiatee, there's the transference. There's a transferring of kripa, of that grace, that light, that understanding. Yet some haven't reached that surrender yet. So they'll run home to their computer, look up on Google what their mantra means. And they'll give a description, no doubt. But those initiatees that have gone to that depth of connection to receive the kripa, then the seed is planted very deep in mature soil, and the heart grabs hold of it to nurture it with that light of understanding. So the experience of your meditation is the measure of your meditation. 38, 39, some additional techniques of meditation. Then Patanjali wants to inspire you more, so he says, these are just the lower states of samadhi. You want liberation? Then follow these steps for the higher samadhi. the asaprajatna samadhi, awakening, and in that way, beyond realization, the liberation. How did Swamiji talk about this? 10 years ago in 2013 at our Sangha? It became the book Sadhana in Applied Spirituality. You've heard of that, no doubt. You've translated it, I hope, in many languages. Hungarian, I know. Italian, I know. Spanish, I think so. The Dutch will read English. They'll say, okay, we'll take the English. That is what we remember Swamiji talking to us. Though he could talk Dutch to you too, you know. We even put it in Hindi. What kind of disciples are we when we don't even put them in the language, the natural language of our teacher, who was brought up speaking Hindi? So, sadhana and applied spirituality has given us the way, the method, has given us the goal, and has asked us to realize who is it that is taking this journey. And this is what Adhikari was trying to get to last night in a beautiful way in which he told his stories. Are you this? Are you this? This? Together, one hand. Together, one arm. Together, that communication from one brain. From that, the intention that has come forward to know that coordination by way of a sense of oneness in the mind. Because the mind has the nature of being born from the intelligence. And the intelligence is the most subtle expression of Prakriti. So that relationship of the spirit, the Purusha, and the Prakriti, in a sense are one. So enjoy that until you realize they are not. Then you will know the truth. In sadhana and applied spirituality, Swamiji created his own Ashtanga Yoga, let's say. Yes, Patanjali went on in chapter 2 to give us the Ashtanga Yoga. Ashta, 8. So, what were the revelations that Swamiji gave back 10 years ago at the Sangha? Okay, your test. Observe. Just simply at least awaken to see, to hear, to understand that those five senses are giving impressions that become thoughts. Those thoughts mix with the memories to give some understanding, some experience, observation. But you as meditators also examine. You use the faculty of buddhi to examine, and in that way have an application of the higher intelligence. Yes, we get caught in that examination that becomes judgments. Those judgments are pulled by the ego to say, oh, I'm not this, I wish I had this, I could be this. But you as meditators wash that. You polish that ego to get off the rough edges. Give it a sheen so that you understand that it is not just observation and examination, but it's a purification. And Swamiji was the master of the art of purification. Everything, he said, everything he asked us by way of disciplines, he wouldn't use the word discipline. He would say, purify, purify, purify. A purification that matures and matures, to which he himself said, I still have not reached that purification that has given me the total satiety, that santosha of the higher nature of my mind, never pulled from the samadhi state, though always active in the world. So the pacification, purification, leading to these states of satiety, of contentment, as measures of the purification, of beautification. Beautify this personality by way of pure mind and heart. Let those inner flowers bloom. That's what Swami Rama meant when he said, don't pick the flowers. Don't sully these inner blooms of beauty as you open up your personality. It is not these external flowers, for they too must find a way to surrender, and they have surrendered by way of becoming beautiful streamers that have beautified our campus. They too have surrendered to a higher beauty. So let us be like the flower that is able to beautify our minds, open up our hearts to that inner beauty. This becomes that level of awakening called the realization. And a natural then understanding of friendship and kindness. A deeper sense of compassion and equanimity. And a maturity of that inner balance that is not pulled. And in that way continues to be the witness. Realization of that sakshi, the witness. So allow me to simply complement and supplement something that I was thinking on to the path, the royal path that Swamiji has given us through the sadhana and applied spirituality. You heard him say, aspire. Remember? Yeah, that was a while ago, and many words have been spoken since. But dig deep into that little memory bank. Aspire, so that you will be inspired. I've turned them around. Be inspired so that you can aspire. Inspiration that will lift you up Not so much emotionally, and this is what I ask you to guard upon. The first day, everyone is, wow, wow, wow. Inspired. But please absorb, please assimilate, please bring it into a aspiration of a life goal, a life purpose. So you have inspiration leading to aspiration, leading to perspiration. This is where your tapasya comes in. This ashram is the ground of, the arena of, the womb of that tapasya, that training, that discipline, that burning. Burning until it becomes a heartache. Why aren't I making progress? Why am I still getting caught in those conversations that lead to arguments? Why am I not able to see from another person's point of view, and I always want it my way? So that the perspiration is training, training, training again and again. What word has been said? What sentiment and emotion has been elicited? Until it becomes desperation. Inspiration becomes aspiration, becomes perspiration, becomes desperation. I gotta do it, I gotta do it. I must, I will. And I have to. Because I'm on the spiritual path. If you have not cried for the Lord, if you have not felt a sense of desperation, why am I not understanding? Why am I not getting it? My meditations, they're just empty. They're just not exciting anymore. If there hasn't been a desperation in your heart, it will come. I promise you. If you have not cried for the Lord, there will be a time when those tears are shed. Initially, you may not identify it as the Lord, because there will be tears, maybe of a loss of a loved one. Yet, a meditator absorbs that energy of that emotion into that application to their sadhana that is saying, oh, that's death, but now I understand. Now I accept. Now I can appreciate. Yes, now I know that that will be my fate. So the desperation then leads to a liberation, to a realization. And that realization slowly, slowly will be your liberation. So that at no other time except at that last breath, the realization that is now ready to be lit with the final light of liberation, the breath will be both the lighting and the extinguishing, because nirvana is the extinguishing of that light. And liberation is the nirvana. So there will be that. Which will be your pathway and momentum for your Jivatman to be back here at Sadhakagram again in some other lifetime. And if the bricks are no longer forming buildings in this area, at least aspire to be born in the motherland. Then you can learn Sanskrit from birth and not have to struggle. And if it is not that you can even be born in the motherland, at least come back as a human being, please. Yet some of you will choose not to take the human body, and you will be the bright beings in that collective mind field of consciousness where your minds, as pure beings, will be the influencers of us back here on earth saying, okay, I'm meditating, let's connect. Will we see Swami Veda again? As his Bodhisattva vow, he will be there to help every sentient being, to carry them to that realization. These were just some thoughts to share, and what's unique is that each day you'll have a little different approach. We haven't compared notes, so tomorrow I think it's Ashu and Jung. They'll give you a different point of view, a different perspective, and in that way something will reconnect by way of their connection. Yeah, that's what I had forgotten. Okay, sorry. Well, I can look at my notes now and say, I'm very forgetful. Okay, so I left you at desperation. Please don't stay there. That leads to, let's see, what do we have now? Inspiration, aspiration, perspiration, desperation, determination. Okay? So we've got a couple steps in between before you can realization. Okay? So, determination. The illuminating force that guides your life, the persona of light as she, the creative one within you, who is the refuge to which you can always receive inspiration from. That is your determination. It's in me. It's with me. It's guiding me. I only have to get out of the way. I only have to listen. I am not the doer. The determination, that sankalpa, is the light that will shine and always be present in me. Determination becomes transformation. These were the two intermediaries. Desperation becomes determination. That desperation burns and burns and burns until just the ore is the nugget of gold, because it's been burnt into that essence of gold. Then the transformation, of course, is that transforming quality of that determination. The determination with the transforming quality becomes the realization. Now here, what is the measure of your transformation? This is always important too. Recently we put out our newsletter. The newsletter, which was actually inspired, the name of the newsletter, Full Moon Illumination, which is our monthly newsletter, the AHYMSIN monthly newsletter. Please read it, translate it, provide it to others. The Full Moon Illumination is the quality that transformation is abhyam, that way in which you have an eye to see only friendship. And in that way, all living beings are your friend. You have an eye by way of your heart with compassion that all living beings are in pain, are suffering. And you, by some glance, some action, some word, give them some satiety to that pain. Selflessly. Selflessly. Not that I am doing something. I cannot help but helping them. So this transformation is abhyam. And Swamiji had gone on to say a bit more on that, and that was the theme of the past newsletter. Abhyam means no fear, because there is no danger. Where there is danger, there is fear. Where there is fear, there is danger. This was at least one motto I remember my master Swami Rama saying, where there's fear, there's danger. So whenever I sensed there's a hesitation, there's a fear, there's a holding back. Oh. Am I causing danger? Am I willing to accept danger without reacting negatively, and in that way adjusting accordingly? Where there is fear, there is danger. Abhyam means no fear because there's no danger. All are friends because I am a friend to all. Maitri, I am a friend to all. From whom would I have any danger? Who should I fear? Abhyam tattva, abhyam sattva. Abhyam shuddhi, abhyam buddhi. So the very nature of mind, that tattva is sattva. That element of the constituent of your mind being the sattva guna, the nature of sattva. Abhyam shuddhi, abhyam buddhi. What is it that is the purification? It is the polishing of the intelligence of buddhi, the higher intellect. The intellect that on its finest action, let us say, is to reflect the nature of the Atman, the pure being that you are. Realization, for when all are friends, there's abhyam. As the fire that purifies, the fire that transforms, the fire that gives you a new birth is that realization, is that understanding of your pure being. So this is a new Ashtanga yoga. No, please go back to your teachings. Patanjali must know a lot more and provides a lot more for you. Also go back to your sadhana and applied spirituality, where the layers and levels of purification become those aspects of pacification, the contentment, the santosha that is so important in life. Let me just end with, we're fortunate to have some of our members who are not here but serving the mission in beautiful ways, many ways. Some of them are back in their centers, back in their home countries teaching and weren't able to come. Some are running their centers in other ways. Some are on the Facebook. And besides all that could be on the Facebook, that I hope you only spend that much time on, I hope you spend this much time on the inspirations of Savita. Those that know the name Savita from the Facebook, Argawal. Beautiful ways in which every day, every month, every year, for years and years, she has provided these inspirations for your aspiration. Also, Carolyn Hume, back to the AHYMSIN Facebook site. Actually, you'll notice that there are two AHYMSIN Facebook sites. So Carolyn provides input on one, and Divya and company provide the other times as well as the publications put on Facebook. So these people are giving us beautiful quotes, and it just so happened that Carolyn picked out a quote from Swami Rama. It again is associated with the Yoga Sutras by way of his talks given in Singapore that became the content of a book that they entitled Samadhi, the Highest Wisdom, Yoga, the Sacred Science. So I think Jung, you were probably there. On page 18, Carolyn always puts the pages in so you can look in your own library, pull out the book. Ah, yes. Page 18, Swami Rama said in the lecture, you have to light your own lamp. You have to light your own lamp. No one will give you salvation. I am talking of enlightenment. All individuals have the responsibility to enlighten themselves. That's pretty strong. But if it comes from the Master, can we doubt? All individuals have the responsibility to enlighten themselves. Do not think you cannot do it. And again, when you put two negatives together, they always become a positive, meaning you can do it. Do not think you cannot do it. You have that spark. You are fully equipped. You simply need to discipline yourself. And discipline means practice. Discipline means self-commitment. Or discipline means perspiration. So this is from the quote that Carolyn put into the Facebook yesterday on light thy own lamp, be a light unto thyself. Apo dipo bhava. Secondly, another quote was put in from the path, Choosing a Path by Swami Rama. If anyone wants to be a student of the interior world, that's why we're here. We, students of the interior world. If anyone wants to be a student of the interior world, the path of light, if he wants to do inner research, he will have to understand this one point. One must have a purified, free, and one-pointed mind. One-pointed mind to know, to examine, and to understand the interior self. So if we are students of the interior world, the path of light, we do the inner research, and we understand that we must need a purified, free, one-pointed mind. If the mind is not free, if there is prejudice, if from the very beginning it is influenced by a particular set of dogma, doctrines, formulations, then one cannot conduct nor complete this inner research. For conducting research within, one should be truthful. One should be sincere. One should be free from prejudices. And the research, you, the researchers, should not be shaded by the social or cultural norms or religious fanaticisms. This requires a total independence and an unbiased mind. One cannot lie to themselves. One cannot lie to oneself. One should ask, am I really truthful? Am I really true to myself? Am I a seeker? Please forget everything else said this morning and just know that quote from Swami Rama on choosing a path that is to be taken from here, applied in your life as a researcher of your internal world. I'll ask Divya to put those two quotes from the Facebook on our little bulletin board out here so you can refer to them. You can go upstairs and take your selfie in front of the logo and have your Shika enlightened. Oh, I'm sorry. I have to watch what I say. Meditate, meditate, meditate. Dance to the inner music of your mind and in that samadhi state of beauty and wonderment. Sitting for a moment, drawing yourself to yourself. Catching hold of that bridge, the breath. The twin streams becoming the single flow of mind and breath flowing together, where the mind follows the exhalation, the transition and the inhalation. Like the snake swallowing its tail, that one cycle of life force through the prana stream, no longer divided, but a single flow of the Kundalini stream. That which flows from eternity to eternity, that inner light of love is present. Always, wherever you are, whatever you are doing. Where love is the Lord of life, and you remember the Lord's name in your mantra, through your mantra, through that absorption of love as your mantra. Letting go of this me, mine, and I, for I am not the meditator. I am not the doer. It is by that grace that flows through me that action, words, and even thoughts come forward. Whatever expressions are attributed to me are not mine. Swaha, I surrender. Tatpurushaya vidmahe, vakratundaya dhimahi, tanno danti prajodayat, swaha. This theme of light will continue with our Havan. Those able to participate in the morning Havan, though the space is limited, please do try to have one experience of the morning Havan. Yet let your entire day be that form of yajna as sacrifice. All my thoughts, words, and actions Japo Jalpa Shilpam. The verse 27 of the Sandavaraya Lahari is that sacrifice, that offering of all one's thoughts, words, and actions to the Divine Mother. Swaha, I surrender. And if you cannot remember that, then at least at the mealtime, Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavir, Brahmagnau, Brahmanahutam, Brahmainatena Gantavyam, Brahmakarma Samadhina, Om Vishwatma Priyatam. This is Brahman, this offering is Brahman. The offering is made into the fire that is Brahman, and the offering is made by Brahman. All this is to only realize that this is Brahman. Brahman alone is true and real. Om Tat Sat, that alone is truth. And if you cannot remember any of that during the day, at your evening prayer, Avidya Antas, you are the sun that dispels the darkness. From the Sounda Lalahari, verse 3 of your evening prayer, remembering that light that you will take to your bed as your mantra, that will carry its light as your dream until it's distinguished, and in that way the light remains as that consciousness of the pure union of the self in that objectless experience of deep sleep. And in this way, Ya Jagrato Duram Udaiti Daivam, that shining one remains, whether waking, dreaming, or sleeping. That is your Sankalpa. That is your Shiva Sankalpa. Om Shanti, may peace fill your hearts.
Oh.